If you're looking for a way to easily create a great looking podcast website for your show on the Webflow content management system, you're in luck. Today, I'm excited to share with you the Starter Studio template from Castos. Hey there, Craig Hewitt here from Castos. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be diving into the latest free tool we've created here at the Castos team to help you on your podcasting journey. And that free tool is a great looking template for the Webflow platform, Webflow content management system, to help you create a great looking website for your podcast entirely for free. Webflow is a really powerful tool that creates not just simple websites like for a podcast, but it could be the whole website for your brand. And what we've done here with the Starter Studio template is giving you that kind of starting point to where, without any design skills or certainly technical coding skills, you can create a really great looking website for your show entirely for free. We're going to walk through how to set up that template and how to set up your website in Webflow. We're going to customize the content that's already there to match you and your brand and your show. And we're going to set it live and see what it looks like. So stick around to the end so you can see what that looks like in real time. To get started, we're going to head over to castos.com/tools. Here we have a bunch of free tools to help you on your podcasting journey. And down at the bottom here, we have the Webflow template. So we'll click this, and in a new tab, it's going to open up a preview of the Starter Studio template. And so we're just going to walk through what this looks like and what you'll get for your website in Webflow. And again, Webflow is just a tool to help you build websites. It's called a content management system. You might be familiar with things like Wix, or Squarespace, or WordPress. Webflow is just another way to build podcast websites. Okay, great. So we're just going to walk through this real quick. What you see is kind of a left-hand navigation, which we really like because it's just different. A lot of times you see navigation just going at the top of a website like this, right? This is navigation. And on the website that we're making for your podcast, it's going to go on the side because it's different and it's cool. And it kind of looks like a podcast player on your phone, right? On the right, you have a list of the episodes. And you can imagine we could click into any of these episodes and we could play the audio here, and we could play the video down here. Once we get into the website, you'll see what that looks like. We have a short description, myself as the host. You'll change this out for your own. The show notes here, which are kind of a summary of what we discussed in the episode, and the full transcript. This is all provided by Castos entirely for free. On the left side, you have the navigation where you have the name of the show, a brief description, the list of episodes, an about page, which I think is really valuable because you want to share a bit about you and your brand and the podcast with your audience, and that's the place to do it here. You have the ever important subscribe page where you link out to places like Apple Podcast and Overcast and maybe YouTube, and your social links, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, what have you, right? And this is a way for people to connect with you and your podcast, both subscribing and connecting with you on social media. And then similarly, when it comes to connection, you can drop in a contact form here. Webflow makes this really easy. They have it built in, no extra plugins, no extra payments or anything like that. You just click a button and drop a contact form in here. So this is the Starter Studio template, and this is what your website will look like when we're done. And to get started, all you have to do is click this blue button in the top right where it says Clone in Webflow. It's going to open up a new tab here, and it's going to let us create this site in our Webflow account. I've already got a Webflow account. It doesn't have anything in it. It's on the entirely free plan. You can do this entirely for free. There are some limitations. You might want to upgrade to a paid plan. But creating this website doesn't cost any money, only if and when you want to take it live and do some customization to it. So Webflow is saying we're going to call this Craig's Dandy Site. That's fine. You can customize the name here if you want. I like it because it's a little snarky. And it's just taking a minute here to build our website using the Starter Studio template in the Webflow content management system, or kind of platform, if you will. Cool. And we can see it basically copied what we were looking at before from a preview and put it into the website here. So we have all the same content, all the same information. I like to think of Webflow in two kind of halves. One is design and aesthetic and look and maybe a bit of functionality even. And if you look at the navigation over here on the left, you have things like components if you hover over, variables, style selectors, assets. I'm not a designer, right? But this is where you would do design and functional things in the theme to make your website look or do differently. And then you have things like CMS, which we're going to get into in a minute, and logic and users and e-commerce, and then other stuff that extend the native kind of functionality of the Webflow platform. So this is more kind of like what's there, the content, and then what it does. We're going to largely hang out in the CMS area of the Webflow editor because what we're going to do is customize some of this information from the template, right? We gave you kind of a starting point. That's what we call it, Starter Studio, giving you a starting point to where you can just edit some of this. And you're not starting from scratch. And so we'll look first at people. So this is interesting. You might just have one or two hosts to your show, and we've included a couple of here just so you can see what this looks like. But maybe you're the only host, and so you just select this, and we'll just say your name here. And if you want to change this, you can just say your name. Cool. So that's all good, right? So this is just information about you as a host, right? And the type of person you are as a host. We also have an option for a guest. If you have regular guests on, you want to create a profile for them, you totally can. You want to upload your avatar here. You just get rid of this and replace it with your own. And then a little bit about you and links to yourself on social, right? So once you've customized this, you just hit save. That's great. And then that will go onto the live site when it's time. And you're going to follow the exact same pattern for both distribution links, where your link to your show in Apple is going to be different than this, right? This is just an article to the Castos platform to show you how to get your podcast live on Apple. But it's going to be different, right? Overcast, your RSS feed is going to come from the Castos platform, right? All of these things are going to be different. All we're doing here is giving you a starting point. So literally all you have to do is come in and replace this link and hit save. That's it, right? So distribution links, social links, same thing. Your Instagram profile is going to be different than what we have here because we've just used our own, just to give you a starting point. So for the first three, I'll say collections, if you want to use Webflow terminology, people, social links, and distribution links, all you have to do is edit what's already there. Pretty easy, right? Episodes is where you're going to get into publishing your content, right? And so I'm just going to walk through really quickly the first episode from our podcast here to give a preview of what you publishing a new episode is going to look like and what it's going to entail. So if you click on the introduction to podcasting, you'll see it has an area for the title of the episode, the slug, which is kind of like the link, as you can see here, a link to the file, to the audio file from Castos. So if you're hosting your podcast on Castos, you'll grab this from the dashboard, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Similarly, we all like podcasting in video, so we can publish on YouTube. So we have a field to embed the YouTube video here. And then we'll have a quick summary, and this is a line or two about your show, plain text, no kind of formatting or anything. And then down here in the show notes area, this is, think of it like a blog post, right? This is where you get the meat of the written content for your show. You might have things like links mentioned, people's social profiles from a guest or something like that. So the show notes are a little more rich than the summary, but not as rich as the whole transcript, right? So you get the whole transcript for every one of your podcast episodes when you're hosting with Castos, and you can paste those in here for you to get a little more mileage in terms of written content out of the audio and video that you're already doing for your podcast. This is why I love podcasting so much, is it is a powerhouse for repurposing content. You can record an episode like this in video to YouTube, audio to podcasting, show notes for the website, and transcript for that word for word account of what you said during the episode. And we're just giving you that place to embed the transcript here. And we'll take a look at what that looks like on the front end, like when people actually go to your website to see, in just a minute. You can input the duration, episode number, the host, right? This is the people that we talked about before. And if you have a cover image, you can upload this here. These are 2000 by 2000 pixels, usually in JPEG or PNG format. Cool. And then you would just save or publish this, right? So that is it when it comes to updating an existing episode. But probably what you would do is you would come back to the episodes area and create a new episode. So you might delete all of these because these are our content. This is not your content, right? I mean, happy free to use it and have it be there. This is a 13-part series we did on how to start a podcast, just for reference. So you could keep this. You probably want to get rid of it and start from scratch from just a content perspective of episodes with your episodes. So you might have one on how to train a puppy, right? I have a very poorly behaved dog and he needs some training. So this is kind of top of mind. Cool. So automatically creates a slug here, which we talked about before. Audio file you're going to get from your Castos dashboard. So we'll go over to our Castos dashboard, which I have in another tab, and we'll click the little link icon here. There's two ways to embed a podcast episode onto a website generally. One is with the built-in Castos player, and you would copy this big old huge bit of code here and embed this onto your website. For this purpose, we've created a player built into Webflow, and so we're just going to use the link to this file hosted on Castos and kind of point the Webflow player to that link. So we'll hit the button here to the right, which copies this link. We'll come back to Webflow and we'll paste this in. These links look like episodes.castos.com, so you know that this is kind of what this is all about, and it will have a .mp3 or .m4a file at the end, and that just tells you this is an audio file. Similarly, we talked about YouTube and how if you want to, you can embed YouTube videos here. I have a video we did on how you can make money podcasting already pulled up, and so I'm going to grab that link from YouTube and paste it over here. And as I hit tab on my keyboard, it starts reading this information from YouTube and starts showing what this is all about. Summary text. So this episode is all about training puppies with podcasts. And here you can do things like have a list, right? Items, links. You can imagine just everything you do in a conventional editor program, right? To create kind of rich text here. This is a blog post, if you will. Additionally, you have the full transcript available again from your Castos dashboard. If we close this and go into this transcript episode, we have the full transcript here, which we can just copy and come back to our Webflow editor and paste this in. Great. I did notice that it mistranscribed the word Castos. So I'm going to clean that up as we're pasting this in. Great. So that's perfect. Now, this episode is only about 30 seconds long in a previous video where I talked about our transcript product. So that's the transcript. If you want to put the duration in, you can here. So we'll do like, it's about 30 seconds long. And this is going to be episode 1. And the host of this is me. But you will have changed or updated the host area here in the people collection to where your name will show up here instead. If you have that 2000 by 2000 pixel square image, you can place that and upload that here. I don't, so I'm just going to go ahead and create this episode anyhow. And now we can take a look at this on the front end, if you will. Cool. And so I've opened this back up and I will preview this in the Webflow editor. And so I can get a sense for what this looks like. So this is the audio player. If you hit play here, it will play the episode. This is the embed from YouTube. This is the title. These are the show notes. And this is the transcript. That really is everything that you need to know to get started with Webflow and the Starter Studio template from Castos. Admittedly, there's a whole bunch more you can do with Webflow. There are many, many entire industries and companies built around Webflow customization and building of great websites. But what we wanted to do here is give you a starting point. So you're not starting from scratch. You're not staring at this blank page and saying, gosh, what the heck am I going to do? We're really giving you the guts of a great looking podcast website that in just a few minutes you can customize a little bit to match the content for what you're trying to do. But the guts and the structure and the style is already there, fully mobile responsive and just ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of the Starter Studio template for Webflow, provided by Castos, again, entirely for free. I hope you enjoy it, and I'd love to hear any comments you have about things we can do to make this better for you, or just in general, make more great free tools for you as a podcaster. Please drop a comment in below. As always, if you're enjoying this, please like, subscribe, smash the bell, and we'll see you next time.